Today I'm going to be talking about how to attract accredited investors via LinkedIn. No paid ads. A little bit about myself. My name is Kerbins. I'm the CEO and founder of Boost Brand and co-founder of Vector Capital Strategies, which is a capital raising and marketing consultancy that helps capital raisers, fund managers, syndicators, and operators systematize their capital raising by leveraging digital strategies to attract investor capital at scale, to attract investor capital. In a nutshell, what I'm going to be walking you through today are strategies that we've leveraged in order to attract millions of dollars for completely free using LinkedIn. Now, you can follow along and we'll get right into it. First and foremost, I have a question for you. Would you wire a complete stranger $50,000? Well, if you are a logical person, the answer is probably no. You would not wire a complete stranger $50,000. Now, well, my next logical question is why? Why wouldn't you wire somebody that is a complete stranger $50,000? Well, the answer is simple. You just don't know them. They're a complete stranger. But what if you did know them? What if you knew that person? What if that person was an uncle, a cousin, or a friend, or somebody that you worked with in a previous life, right? Why would you still not wire this person $50,000? The simple answer is you just do not trust that person yet. Now, what if you knew them, you trusted them? What would be keeping you from sending them, wiring them $50,000 or more? Well, maybe you just don't like them, right? And I'm not talking about liking in terms of liking them as a person, but liking their philosophy. Oftentimes people mistake this. They think liking meaning that it just means like liking them as a person. That is part of liking as well too, but liking in this context is liking their philosophy in terms of, politics, their philosophy in terms of how they are, their thesis, etc. The reason why I went through this exercise is because there's a fundamental factor that enables people to spend money with you, for people to do business with you, which is called the know, like, and trust factor. Now, if you do not have the know, like, and trust factor, or your clients, your investors do not know, like, and trust you, you will never get $50,000 or more from them. Well, now, how do you break this barrier of the know, like, and trust factor? Do you do that? Well, it's utilizing this free resource that almost 1 billion people have access to, which is called LinkedIn. Now, my team has developed a proprietary system called the Investor Growth Engine, which encompasses LinkedIn growth engines. Essentially what that is utilizing LinkedIn strategies to attract accredited investors. Now, why LinkedIn? LinkedIn has over 1 billion users. It's no longer a platform for jobs and resumes, and your ideal investors are already there. Think about executives, business owners, high-income professionals scrolling daily on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn also has advanced filtering systems utilizing their paid subscription services like Sales Navigator or Sales Navigator Core. But at the foundation, at the core, LinkedIn is free. And you can start using LinkedIn today and start booking appointments right away with accredited investors. Now, before you start any marketing effort, you need to start on solid foundation. Just like any marketing initiatives, you need to think about what your end goal is, right? And you need to be very clear about that, because if you're not clear about what your end goal is, you're going to end up posting content, getting on the content hamster wheel, and not attracting the quality or the quantity of investors you're looking for, and just blame the platform and just stop and never persist through. So you need to be very clear about what your goal is, whether your goal is brand visibility, whether your goal is to attract more capital or to finish off a raise. You need to be very clear about that. The next thing that you need to be very clear about is who it is that you're looking to help on LinkedIn. If you're not clear about that, that's going to cause some clogs in your engine, okay? Now, the next best step that you need to take once you've identified your goal, as well as who it is that you're out there to serve, you need to optimize your LinkedIn profile. Now, I'm gonna walk through some best practices on LinkedIn in order for you to successfully build a LinkedIn growth engine, LinkedIn investor acquisition engine that will allow you to attract accredited investors consistently, to book calls with you, to eventually subscribe and fund your capital raises. So we're gonna start with what not to do. This is what you should not do on LinkedIn. You shouldn't have a profile picture that is unclear. A profile picture that has low quality, or a profile picture that it's a group photo clearly and you just cropped it on yourself. You can still see the shoulders of the person that's right next to you in that photo. That is something that you should not do on LinkedIn, and you should not have your face obstructed by an object. Your face should be clearly visible for people to see, and your bio should not be a resume dump on LinkedIn, right? The bio that is not optimized is a bio that doesn't say who you help or what outcome you deliver. And if you're only using your bio to be a track record flex with no context, it just looks like you're bragging and you're not earning trust from potential investors. And then also, this is one of the biggest hindrance to building an investor pipeline, attracting capital, is no clear call to action on your landing page, which is your LinkedIn profile, which is essentially a landing page. If there's no clear call to action on your LinkedIn profile, people don't know what to do next. Visitors come, they just don't know what actions to take, whether to book a call with you, whether to reach out to you, whether to subscribe to the newsletter, whether to download a free guide. They just don't know what to do next. So you need to make sure that you have this cleared out and you know what action steps the user is going to take next. Then when you're posting on LinkedIn, you're only posting about your deals, right? This is something that you should not do. You're just posting about your deals. You providing no value, you're providing no education, and you're pretty much spamming people without understanding truly where their interest lies and giving them the option to partake in your world, your nurturing sequences, right? And then also, this is a grave mistake that people are doing or not doing, is utilizing the featured section on LinkedIn. It's outdated, it's not updated, there's no free resources in that featured section. And we'll walk through that in a little bit. And I've also created some other videos that can help you optimize your LinkedIn profile. So just check that out on my profile and you'll be good to go. Here's what to do, right? You need to have a professional headshot. I'll walk through this list pretty fast because I kind of covered the opposite of what not to do, right, already. But essentially, you need to have a professional headshot. You need to have a clear transformation statement in your headline. I help doctors achieve financial freedom through investing in real estate. You need to be very detailed and targeted with who it is that you're helping and what results you're helping them achieve. Then you need to show how you've helped investors in the past. So you need to feature some case studies or some testimonials, some specific numbers to the metrics of success that you've had with investors and helping them achieve their objectives. Then you need to also have a link to free resources. This is something that I mentioned earlier, which is oftentimes on LinkedIn, people are not providing enough value and they wonder why investors are not opting in or investors are not engaging with their content, right? It's because you're not providing enough free value. Now, you can read the rest. Updated bio that speaks to your ideal investor's pain point is important, something to do on LinkedIn. Also, banner that reinforces your brand, your credibility, your positioning is important as well too. Not a generic LinkedIn banner that just shows that you've not put intention and thought and effort into presenting yourself as somebody worth taking seriously. So if you don't have a LinkedIn banner, you need to get that updated fast, right? I've actually created a free LinkedIn banners, over 100 free LinkedIn banners. If you want access to that, all you have to do is scroll down below and click on the free LinkedIn banner link, and you'll be able to have access to these banner templates completely for free, okay? Okay, now, you understand the to-dos and what not to-dos and understand a little bit of why LinkedIn. But how does this look like practically? And first, I'm not gonna cover what a funnel is. I have other videos on this channel that walks through a funnel specifically for investor acquisition. Brief overview of a funnel. It's essentially a means by which people drive traffic, right? It's a means by which people go through a journey. At the top of the funnel, you're generating traffic. It's typically broken down in 3 different stages, which is top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. And essentially each stage requires different assets and engagement points in order to fully graduate your potential prospects to the next stage of the funnel. There's some more in-depth videos that I created about that, so I'm not gonna cover that too much, but essentially a funnel is a journey that you have built in order for your investors to go through, and you've calculated meticulously every stage, every step of the funnel in order to elicit the desired response that you would want from an ideal prospect, which is essentially booking a call with you and then subscribing to your deal. How do you actually generate investor interest on LinkedIn? Well, at the top of the funnel, you need to create LinkedIn content. That's how you create traffic towards your landing page, which is your LinkedIn profile. In order for this LinkedIn system to work, you actually need to be creating content on LinkedIn, because that's how you're going to be generating traffic towards your LinkedIn profile, which is essentially your landing page. You're going to be creating content that's going to be top of funnel. It's going to be content that has the goal and the purpose of generating investor interest, because you already know who you're targeting. With that content, you're going to drive people to your profile, and people are going to take the desired action that you would like them to take, which is having a free guide, a free resource for an investor to self-educate, or if they're ready to speak to you, you can have a link to book a call with you. Now, once the investor or the prospect takes the desired action that you'd like them to take, they typically fill out a form to get access to you, whether that's booking a call with you or downloading a free asset. They typically will fill out a intake form. In that intake form, you can ask them any questions that you would like to further qualify this person in your CRM, in your backend, right? Further understand who they are and why they downloaded this asset to begin with. And that continues to move them through your journey. As the investor goes into your journey, they're going from top of funnel, which is somebody that doesn't know you, to the middle of the funnel. They've downloaded an asset, interacted with a piece of content, booked a call on your calendar, and they're going through the funnel stages. Once they get into your world, you're going to need to design email sequences to further nurture them, to further indoctrinate them about your process, your thesis, and about who you are, so you can build that know, like, and trust factor with that particular prospect. As they go down the funnel, you want to start engaging with automations that fire off when they take a specific action within your database, right? So let's say like they don't open the email, for example. You want to send them a follow-up email with a different subject, so to make sure that they're engaging, right? So you want to set up some sequences on the back end. And then at the end of the nurture sequence, when somebody downloads a asset from you, you want to invite them to book an intro call with you to actually speak to yourself or your investor relations person, right? At the top of the funnel, like I mentioned, you're generating traffic by posting content, right? This is bringing people into your world, and once they land on your LinkedIn profile, they will take the desired action that they want to take, whether it's book a call with you or downloading an asset to learn more about you. And also, there are other pieces of content that we can create with hard call to actions, which is essentially inviting them to take a desired action that you would like them to take. So this call to action is inviting them to join your investor database. So in this particular example, we have prospects comment a particular word, and then once they've commented the word, we will then trigger automations to reach out to them. And then once you reach out to them, you are going to get their email and their phone number to add them to your investor database. That's how simple it is to attract investors using this LinkedIn acquisition system. My team and I have built dozens of LinkedIn growth engines for people, and if you follow the process of creating content that's to bring people to your optimized profile, because first you have to optimize your profile. You bring people into your world. You optimize your profile by having a free resource, clear call to action for them to take, then have content that is designated to lead generate with a clear call to action. You're going to have more investors in your database than you currently have to date. You can go ahead and use this method to generate tons of leads for free on LinkedIn. My team and I, what we do is we actually help sponsors and syndicators actually do this. We do this on behalf of sponsors and syndicators via our consultancy, our firm. But if you want to try this strategy yourself on LinkedIn, you can start today by just optimizing your profile, following the not to do's into what to do's. You optimize your profile and then start creating content on there. And that's how you're going to be able to attract accredited investors using LinkedIn without paid ads.